1, 2, 3, 4. I'm testing.
Well, I think this is it. Wow. Look at these leaves. Blood red, golden. How long has it been without a proper vacation?
Too long. What's the deal with that box?
It's coming.
This bag is heavy.
Good God, woman, will you be patient?
What do you mean?
Here it is. Wow.
Whoa. This place looks amazing. Ooh, look at these white carpets.
Oh, I can hear it now. Don't spill anything.
Well, there is a cleanup fee if we soil the carpet.
Oh, let me guess. No shoes and coasters. Oh, shit! Oh, you don't want to know, honey. Something really bad's happened here.
What are you talking about?
Just, oh my, I don't know what we're gonna do. Oh my God.
Did the last cast leave a mess? Because I am so going to ding this on Yelp.
A mess. Oh, sweetheart, it's bigger than that. Oh my God.
Let me see.
No, wait, you don't want to see. Hold.
Let me see.
No.
Oh my God! Is man
Dead, I would say so. He's blue and gray and, oh my God. Hold on.
You could have called 911, right?
Just hold on a second. Yeah,
What?
I mean, you're right, but wait. Hello, is Steve there? Oh no, we're renting the Airbnb, and oh, he was planning on meeting us here. Can you describe what he looked like? It didn't really come through well on the app. Tall. Oh no! We're not there yet. We're getting close, and well, I just wanted to see if the deposit cleared. Great, fantastic.
Did you just lie to that person?
A little, but we got to figure out our next best step.
You dumbass! Give me that phone. We need to call
No,
911
we got to
right
just
now.
figure things out. We can't just call 911. Steve, is it?
No, Curtis. You are?
I'm Philip, and this is Aliana. We thought you were the owner.
No, just the renters.
So the renters that are leaving?
No, as in the renters that are going to stay here this week.
Oh, fuck!
Man, forgive Curtis's manners. I'm Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. I don't know if we've been double booked or not, but we've got bigger problems than that.
Please, what problem could you people possibly...
You people are here first? I tell you what, you want it that bad, you can have it.
Yeah.
Wait a second, this isn't what it seems. We had nothing to do with this.
Okay. Well, did you call 911 then?
We were just getting ready to do that.
Before you do, I think we all just need to take a deep breath, okay? Let's just take a deep breath.
See, honey, I told you we just need to figure out what happened.
But we don't know what happened. We just walked in here and found this guy here.
Well, did you touch anything?
The table and the couch, and we called the owner's number.
You did that after you got here?
Yeah, but I didn't say anything. They said Steve was going to meet us here. Do you know what Steve looks like? Have you ever seen him before? Is he tall? I mean, is this him?
No, I can't say we ever met Steve.
Everything was done online.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, does he look tall? Oh my God, I'm just a nervous wreck.
Honey, you're panicking again.
Hey! Before anyone calls 911, I think we all need to talk about what we're going to say. That way we all tell the same story, all right?
I'm confused. What story do we need to be telling other than the truth?
Well, evidently we were the first ones to find this guy, right? Take a look around, sweetheart. There is no sign of forced entry anywhere in the building, so naturally they're going to think we had something to do with this.
Shit!
Told you we should have stayed at the Hampton.
Oh,
Gonna ruin everything!
there. Aliana, is it? Just take it easy,
Okay, let's go on vacation. And now we're gonna go.
Philip, right?
Curtis?
Yeah. I tell you what, let's just let them be a couple of hysterical women, and let's just figure out what we're gonna do about this. 'Cause this is a problem.
Figure out. I mean, look at her. She does this every time we try to plan a trip. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm done. Done with this. Oh.
You know none of this is your fault, sweetheart.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I was just an unfortunate set of
The
circumstances.
nicest person. Oh, you're so sweet.
Neat and clean. No one heard a thing.
Yeah, I like it when this hand-to-hand combat stuff goes quietly. It's just like a still moonlit evening. It's great. Hello?
I'm sorry, you have the wrong number.
Hey, now we have a problem.
Well, the kid's gonna be how we set this here up. So Philip there called the owner's house. They're probably gonna be the first ones to follow up to see what's going on.
Yeah, and I bet that was them calling to check up on this Steve guy. Damn it. All right, we gotta do this fast.
Today, make it fast. We don't have time for that.
Just shut your mouth and let me do things my face. Okay, Ron. All the days. For this shit.
Okay, come on, keep thinking. Think fast.
Getting sleepy. Alright, how do you want to do this? I'm thinking we just drag her over to him.
Wouldn't it be better to drag him to the couch? Then maybe it looks like they struggle together?
What? Look at him. You know my back. He's got to weigh at least 250, 260. Half of it's his damn beard.
Maybe it's just fine. I can help you. Let's go.
Let's just get this over with. Jesus Christ! It would have been easier if we were couch to him.
I'm gonna have that.
I hate to break it to you, but unless you have a crane or a winch in your panties, we are not getting this son of a bitch on this couch. This is what happens when you kill fucking Santa Claus. Well, shit, that doesn't look right. He's on the floor and she's not.
Yeah, let's drag her down to the, drag her down.
Yeah, make them look all cuddly and couple-like. All right. Wait. Motherfucker got blood on my shoes. All right, let's take a look at this. Yeah, like what I'm seeing. They look like a lover's quarrel that ended in Mortal Kombat. Yes. Woo! Woo! This is good.
Something's still not right.
What? Wait. What are you looking at? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this doesn't look natural. All three stabbed each other?
Well, I mean,
No, that won't work.
damn,
Yeah.
the cops are gonna see through that one easy. Damn it!
Hand me the knife. I have an idea.
Oh, I get it. You're gonna make it look like a murder-suicide. Oh, this is good. This will work. This is really.
Yes, but it just won't work like this.
Well, no. If you fire that thing, somebody will hear.
Come on, you know me. I never travel without a song.
Right. This is good. This will work.
This makes much more sense. Still not right. Better. First rate job. Yes. Yes, it's all done. Nope, never suspected a thing. It got a little messy. Well, when we came back to clean up, a couple was here. I know. Look, the main thing is, now that Steve is out of the way, we can sell this New England nightmare and just go to the islands as planned. I love you too, sweetheart. Oh, no, you hang up first. Stop it. Hang up first. Okay, on 3. 1, 2.
Yo! Let me turn this camera on. Yo, welcome to yet another episode. What the heck? I hate when that happens. Welcome to yet another episode of ADQ's Renaissance. I'm your host with the most, keeping it 100 from coast to coast. Through God I boast. ADQ. It is Thursday, July the 22nd, 2021. I'm telling you, this year is going by faster than an Olympic runner on crack. In fact, yo, I want you all to join me as I am doing something real quick. Hope everybody's doing well. What you all just saw is, Re-Up by my brother, Mr. GP. Check it out. Yo, the Re-Up, the album is coming out 7/31. Also, real quick, I am about to, whatever. Let's see. Okay, I can't answer. Whatever. Like I said, Re-Up, my brother GP album is dropping. Look out for Nove album, Golden Fleece dropping, you know what I'm saying? Also, what you just saw was Sport of Crowns. That was the first play I ever directed it. Who came up with that ingenious dialogue? Who? Oh, God. If I ever do that again, somebody slap me. Who came up with that ingenious dialogue? I'm going to tell you who did. My guest for tonight. This man has written 3 plays. I have directed 2 of them, and I have acted in 1. I've heard this man sing before. Man has a voice on him. The man writes and writes. He writes like he's running out of time. Heard them lyrics before? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to ADQ's Renaissance, my good friend Louis Panzer. Louis, what's up, man?
That's a hell of a send-up, my brother. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here, man. Yes, you're absolutely right. Not only was that the first play that you directed, I think that was the first one I ever wrote that was ever put on. So we were both jumping in that thing fresh. So that's how that worked out.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah.
Playing. I did not know that was the first play you ever wrote and that was put up.
Yeah, I think there was a little short something before that, but that was really the first one that was really kind of a full 10-minute built out thing, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And you made it extra fun, and I don't know if you remember, but we switched the roles. So the male role, the female role, we switched it up and it made it much more funny. And that was directly related to my director right here.
Yeah, I was nervous as all get out for that because I was like, yo, I was primarily an actor at that time. I was used to acting, rapping occasionally, poetry, never directed, never. Up until that point, I never have taken an authoritative position in the theater. But I met with Todd Fisher one day. He looked at me and he said, okay, why do you want to do this? Because directing is a very thankless job. They're going to credit the writer, they're going to credit the actors, but not many people credit the director. And I said, because I want to be a well-rounded theater practitioner. Nothing like being a well-rounded theater practitioner. Would you agree, Louis?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and you may not think the director gets much accolades, but they are at the center of making that happen. And it's not just coordinating the actors and taking the artist, the writer's vision and sort of making it happen. I mean, you really have to coordinate people's time, their schedules, getting them in there, keeping them on track, you know, making sure they're moving along, getting off script and everything. And so, yeah, it's a much more complicated situation than some people think.
If anybody who aspires to be a director out there, if you happen to think that it's just merely you sitting in a chair, speaking into a blowhorn and thinking that you are just merely telling people what to do, I am sorry. It is so much more than that. You are the captain of the ship. But I've learned through the Director One program from Guilford College, it's not I'm telling you what to do. It's we are going to put sauces and seasonings into the souffle, and we're going to make sure that the soup, and we're going to see what sauces and seasonings will make the souffle taste the best, and how's the souffle going to come out. Now, since you wrote the recipe to the souffle, tell people at home what did you know about it?
So Sport of Crowns, it's a pretty thinly veiled reference to the Game of Thrones, which, as you might remember, was very huge at the time. And so that's really what it was based on. Some people were super into the Game of Thrones. Other people couldn't be bothered, and that's just life. I mean, some people are really into the fantasy sort of stuff like that. Other people aren't. And when you get two people together where one person's into it and the other one's not, it creates a pretty interesting dynamic. And I think this happens with people all the time, couples. You know, I like this kind of music, my partner doesn't like that, so if I'm in the car I can't crank this up for fear of worrying this. So anyway, you just get into that whole thing. So that was the start of it. And then the kicker at the end, of course, and this was obviously in the middle of 4 crazy years, right? Or probably at the beginning of it, of 4 years. So the close on that was kind of interesting. And it was interesting to have the daughter come in, and then you have the dynamic of the family. Well, is really what you want your kids to see is all this, you know, blood and gore and nakedness and all that. Sometimes we don't think about it. Sometimes we enjoy stuff that when you stop and think about whether or not it might be good for your kids, maybe it doesn't feel the same way when you put them in there and they're talking about knocking the head off a horse. So, but you know, yeah, I was going to say, but for you directing, you had a special challenge, and you might want to tell them about that. And that would be.
Let me take my brain back. A few years.
Yeah.
Special challenge. I know what the special challenge is. Okay, so, this Sport of Crowns, presentation was a part of the evening of short plays over at what used to be the Drama Center of Greensboro, what is now Creative Greensboro, right? And Todd Fisher, the ingenious Todd Fisher, who I would like to have on here one day, nicknamed it the Sport of Crowns flu because I'm laughing because everybody got sick except for me.
Yeah, influenza B. So this is pre-COVID, obviously, but pretty serious. I mean, influenza B, highly contagious, and we had actors dropping off like flies. I mean, you had to put different people in on the Saturday show, and then you yourself, ADQ, took the stage on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, because you were one of the last ones standing.
I took the stage because I wanted the father to remain a black man, and there was a thin selection of black actors who could just come in with the lines and deliver them and stuff. And I was like, well, shoot, I know the show, I know the lines. My cousin came all the way from Shelby to see me. So I was like, yo, forget it. I'll step in. It's not something that I do regularly. When I'm directing the show, unless I cast myself in it, I do everything in my power to not act in it. I let the actors do that thing. That's why, Adrian Allen did his thing. Everybody, Sparky, yo.
Yeah, how about it? Shout out to Sparky for sure. And she was reading off the page, but she had it going on as far as the timing. You heard the laughs. I mean, the acting. She pulled it off extremely well, and that was last minute.
Yes. And Elle King, she goes by Elle now. Last I remember, she played the daughter really well. So I was just so sorry that you all, Jenny, shout out to Jenny. She was the wife during the first show. And through the rehearsals, all y'all got sick, and I didn't. I don't know.
I was waiting for you to get sick. I don't know how you managed to dodge it, because I mean, everybody. There was 6 or 7. This room right here that I'm sitting in was my quarantine room for like a week. Okay, after I went in, I had my pills, I had my Gatorade, I had my Cheetos, and I just hung out in this room for like a week trying to recover from that. So, yeah, it was a mess. So yeah, you dodged it. And
other than getting an upset stomach last year, I still have yet to get sick.
Knock on wood, man. Knock on wood. You better knock on something for sure, because
But hey,
I know, me either, but I'm just saying, we felt the same way. We dodged all the COVID this last year, kept away from it and everything. But I don't know, man. I don't know how you feel about it at this point, but I'd like to think we're on the other side of it. But then on the other side of that, I don't know, man. I mean, Delta and all this other stuff. So I just take it day by day. If there's anything I learned in the last year and a half, take it day by day and wait and see just what happens, It affected art. It affected our art, as you know.
It did. It really did. Which before we get into it, what art came out of it, because I ended up participating in yet another revolutionary piece that you so brilliantly wrote. Let's back up. I want to know at what point did you pick up a pen? At what point did you pick up a pen or a pencil and say to yourself, I am a writer now?
Okay, so it's kind of weird because actually I was a musician for a long, long time. And I had this idea to write this musical about robots and people and stuff. And so I kind of busted that out in the space of about 3 months. And I wrote this whole musical, never had done anything like it before, didn't even know what to do with it. It was just if you're a creative person, I mean, you outlet in any number of ways, but that was the first time I'd ever done that. And then I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to even check in with. And as you mentioned, Greensboro, at the time, the Drama Center, they had the Playwrights Forum. And so I finished that up around in August of, this is about 4 years ago, I guess, and signed on to go check out the group there. And then September started joining them. And that's the first time I even took any notice of the idea of writing plays or anything like that. So I had really no idea about it, but found an incredible group, as you know, of people, Todd Fisher kind of being at the top of that, but then everybody underneath there, so many actors and writers and folks of, writing all kinds of stuff, short plays, long plays. And it was very inspiring. So from that's when I really started to write longer pieces. And I know you mentioned I've written 3, but actually I've got 3 full-length plays a couple of them that have been read, on those fifth Wednesdays that they hold. I think 3 of them that I've had read, full length plays. Now I haven't had those put on anywhere yet. I don't have the time. I was gonna say I don't have the time to do it, but obviously what I'm trying to say is I don't have the time like you had time to do time. Okay, self-directed, self-acted, self-written, the whole thing. I've never been able to get a long version of anything yet. So, but it doesn't matter. Just being around those folks and doing all these things, and folks like yourself, watching people grow into different roles is just excellent. It's exciting.
One of my favorite scriptures is iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, and it's something about being around fellow artists, fellow creatives that really gets your juices flowing. Like, I remember when I took a draft of what would become. I'm saying too daggone much. What would become?
No, you're good.
What would become Battle of the Books? I remember I took it in there, and you all read it, and the feedback to it, the way y'all were laughing, and the feedback just really heightened my artistic dopamine, and that's what made me go and like really get to work on it and write it and stuff. So tell me this: with your writing, who would you consider to be a heavy influence? For example, my influence, my person, my guy, my strong influence is the great August Wilson. I look at August Wilson's works, how relatable they are, how when I read it, when I watch it, I feel like I'm watching relatives talk. So what would you say is one of your influences, your main influence?
So that's tough because again, I came into this with this much knowledge about theater, this much knowledge about writing, directors, the whole thing. So I didn't really have a strong background on that. Believe it or not, Hamilton, for me, drove a lot because of, again, coming from a musical background, seeing the merging of writing and music with a story and telling a story, especially a historical story. To me, that kind of put all those pieces together. And I was blown away by the fact that somebody did that. And it was very encouraging to me as far as trying to tell a story in a different way about something that historically happened. So I've written a couple things. Like I did a piece, we were talking earlier about the Quakers and that. And, I had written a piece about a Quaker, Levi Coffin, who was involved with the Underground Railroad. And this gets into an interesting area because I had researched it. I had all this stuff. I was trying to write in that, in that 1820 to 50, language and stuff. And then the plain speak. And I wrote this thing. And then when I was done, I wasn't really sure that I had the right to tell the story. And I don't know if that is anything that y'all have ever covered in here, but it was a real concern of mine. How are you able to talk or tell a story if it's not really your personal experience? It's difficult. And in some ways it can be, again, the last thing in the world I ever would want to be is offending anybody. Quakers, black folk, anything, right? I don't want to give too much credence to the Underground Railroad as it was handled by, the Quakers, even though I think they had a really strong, wonderful influence in it. But if you put too much credit in one area, then you're taking away from other things, or maybe you're even glorifying in some way some piece of it. So it gets into a real delicate area, difficult to make sure you're being authentic, make sure you're not overstepping or grabbing onto somebody else's experience and trying to take it as your own. So that was one thing that I learned from the historical stuff, doing it, because then I wrote this other one called Course Change, and it reimagines the Spanish and the French coming into Florida and the Native Americans, the tribe that was there, actually expelling them. So it reimagines this telling of it. Again, you get into a situation as I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to write something that feels inauthentic. So it's interesting as a writer to have to look in a mirror sometimes and really decide if you're on the right path. Because I remember when you wrote the book, the play about the books, the Battle of the Books, and you first brought those couple pieces in, and you blazed through and wrote the whole thing in like a month, right? You wrote it really quickly. It seems like within a month or two you had it done.
Give or take. I was highly motivated because I also presented for Miss Yvette Holder's Sips and Scripts reading group, and I got great feedback from them too. So yeah, if I wrote it fast, it's because I was like super motivated after all this great feedback I was getting.
And that motivation is huge, like you said, to be around other artists that are encouraging. Sometimes they're critical, right? I mean, we've been in there before, and there's some people there that are gonna give it to you straight and unvarnished. Sometimes that's difficult for people to hear, but at the same time, for the most part, I would say it's the most encouraging thing to have other artists giving you back your words, portraying it, even if it's a table read, and then it gets your brain going and you start to say, okay, I see now what I heard happening here tells me what I want to do next, for example. And it's a lot of really positive energy that comes out of those groups. It's something that we lost somewhat with COVID. And it goes back to this idea of Zoom. You know, we picked up and did some things with Zoom, and everybody struggled to try to figure out how to be artistic in a world where we couldn't see each other face to face. We did it as best we could. But I know from doing these meetings, even from work and everything, it's just not the same as sitting across from somebody and having a conversation with them than it is to do it through the screens. You know, I mean, we've adapted, but you know, it's just different.
That brings me to HS Data Buddies. So first of all, great actors, great people who were in HS Data Buddy. One of the great actors, you know, your boy right here. Another great actor was your friend and mine, Dan Beckman from Spring Theater. Shout out to Dan Beckman. I gotta shout out Spring Theater because, you know, I feel like they helped jumpstart this film run that I have been in since November of last year. So shout out to Spring Theater. Much love to them. But was HS Data Buddy based off of a real life boardroom meeting that you've been through during the COVID era?
So yeah, so that's interesting because that was obviously written right at the beginning of COVID, right? So a lot of people weren't really still familiar with what to do with the Zoom. And so there was a lot of hilarious stuff that came. I mean, some people did some embarrassing things, right, on their Zoom calls because they didn't realize what they were up to. Other people, you know, they always forget that they're muted. You get into a meeting. In fact, we have a joke about those kind of meetings, and we say you got to put a quarter in the jar if you start talking and you're muted, you know, because by now people got to know, right? You got to be able to control your buttons. But at the time when it was first kicking off, there was a lot of those kinds of hilarious little moments that you discovered about things. And just to give a little context for people, it was the idea of launching this product that would be the HS Buddy. You don't really find out till the end, but the HS stands for handshake. And it was like you would grip a hand and pass your personal information to the other person, and that's how you would exchange contact information. And of course, at that point, everybody was masked up, everybody was 6 feet apart. I mean, we were all in seclusion practically, and not knowing when it was going to end. And I tell you, Adrian, if you'd have told me that March that we'd be still in that boat a year later, I wouldn't have believed you. But you know, we all adapted. We did adapt to it.
It was tough to adapt because, goodness gracious, when when Community Theater of Greensboro cast me in Mayhem at the Masquerade earlier this year, and I found myself performing in front of people, not in front of a computer screen, but in front of people and being around people. I almost cried because
I can imagine.
Because, all the screens, Zoom plays, Zoom this and all of that, it was nice, but it just doesn't beat audience reaction. Like when we go up and do, shameless plug right here, when we go up and do Finding Shakespeare, there's going to be people there and it's going to be wonderful. I'm like, that's why I'm like, Lord, I don't know what this Delta thing is that they're talking about, but please, don't send me back into seclusion, Jesus.
Seriously, I'm with you. And it just, and the thing about it is if you step back even before COVID, I don't know if you remember, there was like bird flu at one point, right?
Yeah,
there was H5N1 and what they called, it never really got anywhere. I mean, it never really did what obviously COVID did, but it just lets you know that the world is so intertwined, interconnected, that people on airplanes coming back and forth from countries. I mean, it doesn't take much for some hybrid virus to get out and get around. This was a turning point in all of our lives. I mean, it was a year of our life that I read in the paper today that life expectancy is actually down as a direct result of COVID. So if you look at it, extrapolate it across everybody, it took a toll. And it's just, so from an art perspective, motivating yourself when it was just a screen was a whole thing. So I get why you were like ready to cry in front of actually being in front of people. I didn't know how to handle myself the first time I went to a grocery store without a mask on. I actually felt like, I should be masked up maybe, but I had my vaccine, so I guess I'm good. And now they're saying, well, maybe not. So I don't know. I'm just praying like you, praying to Jesus that this is gonna just coast on out. We'll be done with it before you know it. Hopefully. But thinking about the Zoom, thinking about that Zoom thing though, I had this thought, and we had that evening of short plays you were talking about, and they did one of them where it was all Zoom. So they did the spring one, it was completely Zoom, and I had a play in there, and it was about Thanksgiving. And so it was like a bunch of people having a virtual Thanksgiving because that's the only way you could do it. It was during COVID, right? But after that, I thought, what if when things are back live, somebody put together this deal where it would be a dark stage, dark curtains with boxes, kind of like shadow boxes that are lit with the heads in there and the actors, and you have basically the 5 or 6 boxes for the actors, and it's like Zoom, but it's actually live. I mean, all you would see is the boxes with, they'd be behind the black curtain like this inside their box, talking, looking back and forth. But it would be representative of what we went through kind of with the Zoom thing, but in a live environment. Those are the kind of things my brain goes to. I just try to think of weird stuff and how can you interconnect them,
Well, the best thing about being a writer is you take whatever you may perceive as weird, write it down, and present it to people and see if it is weird. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Like I thought
maybe it's good weird.
Yeah. Like I thought that me doing a piece that was like super ultra depressing, I thought that was a weird idea because I'm normally a
time.
Yes, I'm talking about time. Now, that was not a direct collaboration between us, but you did film it, and I thank you for that.
I did film it. Yeah, it was a great experience, and yes, it was depressing. But if you're going to show life, everything's not supposed to be rainbows and puppies and unicorns, right? I mean, and I think one of the things that you did with that piece that was really important and can't really be overstated is it gave a voice to depression, to people who might otherwise pull that up and not be open about it and not look for help or know to ask for help. So in those cases, sometimes something that's a little depressing can actually help other people, which I think is great.
I agree because so when Robin Williams would have been 70 years old today, right? When
I didn't know that, but that's
either yesterday or today. But when he died, everybody was like, but he was such a happy person. He was such a happy spirit. He was the genie. He was Adrian Cronauer. He was Mrs. Doubtfire. How could he was rich, famous. How could he have possibly been depressed? But there's this other podcast out called Midnight Miracle, right? With Yasin Bey, Talib Kweli, and Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle and Yasin Bey are talking about how once they were at the Laugh Factory in California, and Robin Williams just happened to pop up, and they have a soundbite of where Robin Williams was saying some people are just naturally depressed, and it's like, so maybe Robin Williams was going through depression. Maybe that was one of the things he was going through. I know that what led him to suicide, from what I've heard, was the fact that he was he was being more and more affected by Lewy body dementia, and I'm guessing they probably just pictured his life in a demented state, and he said, "Forget this, I'm out of here."
But you know, as we talk, as you talked about or illustrated in time and that too, and you know, one person's closure it opens a whole bunch of questions for everyone you leave behind too, which is another aspect of it. I don't know. I mean, listen, I totally understand depression because I'm a person, I'll tell you that, you know, I deal with it, right? And those of us that deal with it, it's on a myriad of different levels. It doesn't mean I walk around all day sad. Doesn't mean I sit in a corner, but some people do. But I mean, it just means that you've got a different take on things. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy life. It doesn't mean that you can't produce art or, like in Robin Williams' case, be funny. In fact, a lot of those folks who put on the happy face and go out there, that's all to protect what they really feel inside, which is pain, and it's covering up a lot of pain.
I agree, and anybody who knows me would know that, you know, I deal with it too. I mean, I didn't just pull time out my behind. That came from a real place, and you know, it's and you're right. Depression is not, hey, I'm sad, I'm gonna be sad all day. It's more so I am trying to get through this life as meaningfully as possible. I put my faith in God. I'm going to get through this life, but know that I am carrying weights with me, and I'm struggling to give those weights over to God and live freely and happily. It's a day by day struggle, but I say kudos to you, and I will kudos myself for giving voice to that, because, you know, hopefully someone could watch this and say, hey, I'm depressed too, and know that they're not alone.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think it's much more prominent than people give it credit for. I think depression leads to substance abuse in some cases, because people are trying to mask, you know, the pain. Again, it goes back to that. If you can express that pain in some way and get it out, that's great. If you can share it in some way, in a meaningful way. But, you know, I've read a lot of things too. And I had a best friend of mine who was my best man in the wedding. And years ago, like, his grandfather killed himself. And so my friend was very, I could tell, I was talking to him on the phone, and I could tell that he was very depressed. Okay. And he started to say things like, you know, I'm not sure if I know what the point is. I'm not sure if I really feel like there's a reason to go on. And I said, the one thing that really troubles knowing that you're saying that is that I know you have a 9mm under your bed. And he didn't, and I said, have you ever thought of picking it up? And he didn't say anything. And at that point I said, okay, you need to get some help. We need to get you talking to somebody. And then there's some medicine and that, but I think it's a combination of medicine and counseling that you have to kind of have and together to kind of grow and get through that stuff. But those are the questions that some people on the outside may not know to ask. They may be afraid to ask. They may think they're intruding somehow into the person's situation, but you need to know if somebody has the means and the thought together, because you don't want to be that person that could have said something. And again, all those people who are left behind are scratching their head like, I didn't know. And especially sometimes people will just get that strength at the very end. They seem real happy. Now they've come out of their depression just enough to get the strength to do it. And it's tragic. So, like you said, if there's folks listening who are feeling that, hopefully they have someone they can reach out to, whether it's to God, a pastor, some really dear friend they can trust, or somebody that they can speak to about it, because it's a real thing. When I watched Time, because I had never seen, first of all, kudos to you again, not just for writing it, but for directing it, acting in it, the whole thing. It was hilarious when you finished it, because you came out and said, that's right, I wrote it, I directed it, I started. I mean, you put it right on out there. I was like, wow, okay. But you did, okay? You did that. And it made a lot of people think. And I think if there's anything we can do with our art, have people walk away from it thinking about something that they didn't think about when they walked in, that's awesome. And to me, knowing you, having known you for these 3 years, I guess maybe 4 years, one thing that I've told you before is that I'm always impressed that no matter what's going on, you got projects going. I mean, you're juggling stuff. Even when you were directing my stuff, you were like, hey, I got to look at this calendar because I got to be in this thing, I got this other thing, and I'm wrapping up a show over here. So it's like you always have your plate full. And to me, that's impressive. That's impressive. It's a drive that I see that I don't see in everybody. It's hard, like you said, for people even to get self-motivated to write sometimes. But to crank out the stuff that you do and to participate like you do, again, that's why my heart's right here for you, man.
I appreciate that. I jumped right into Airbnb butchery right at the time. When time was over, and all the tears were dried up and stuff, I jumped into Airbnb butchery. Now, while I do not regret doing Airbnb butchery, my only regret there is I didn't give myself time to decompress because time was a lot. And how about right after Airbnb butchery, I jump into yet another depressing piece. You familiar with the writer Truman Capote?
Yes.
Truman Capote's Holiday Memories. I promise you, me and this young lady named Allie, we were at the end of the play. Shout out to Joe Hall, shout out to everybody who I work with, Bryson Cavaniss, everybody who I work with Truman Capote's Holiday Memories. We're gonna get into Airbnb butchery in a minute, but at the end of each play, right? So doing Time never made me cry. I did not shed not one tear doing Time. Even when I had two actresses quit on me. Well, one quit, one I had to replace cause Lord, being director is not easy. Anywho, in Holiday Memories, at the end of every single play, we have released kites into the air. Dude named Perry, I forgot his last name, I think it's Perry Hall, but he was playing the piano, this type of instrumental associated with the piece. You think about the end of the play, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I mean, Holiday Memories is a whole movie, I think. Anyway, spoiler alert. The boy goes to the military. His cousin, who's his best friend, who is very much older than he is dies or gets old and just withers away. Man, I tell you, I cannot help but just boom, they just come on out after backstage. I was like, oh, I'm back here crying like a little punk. I can't take this.
That's tough, man. I mean, listen, I think the reason with time, the only thing I can tell you from watching it and seeing it, and I know the directing is a whole other thing in the background and trying to juggle, you probably were too busy to think about it. But the other thing I was thinking about is you acted out the pain in the piece. So it's something different if you're actually expressing it. I mean, you had a lot of anger. There was one emotion that was highly charged in the piece. It was anger, right? Would you agree with that? Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so you had to let a lot of that out, and you were letting it out there. So that's one of the reasons I think you probably were able to escape that without a lot of, after the effect, the tears and stuff. But other things will creep up on you. Sometimes it's the simplest thing like you said, nobody wants to wither and get old. Because how many times have I heard you complain, Lord, I'm getting old. I'm like, come on now, you're like 32 or something, or 30. You turned 30, I think, at one point. At some point.
I will be 36 in September.
Oh, okay. Well, but I don't know. The way you were howling about it sounded like you were turning 75 and, with a walker or something. Every one of us, I remember being someplace and you were talking about that. Oh, no, I'm getting old. It was like a side comment you throw out every episode. And the rest of us old people were like, come on, dude. We got 20 years on you.
I got a little salt in my pepper.
Okay, all right.
So the great thing about Airbnb Butchery is Airbnb Butchery was funny. The people who participated, Chris Scott, great people, great actors. Butter, I'm gonna call her Butter because right after that she went and did Butter. She know who she is. But everybody who participated was great. It was a funny piece, and I was very glad to be able to direct it. I did learn another pain about being a director, and and that's having an actor who is so dissatisfied with directing that they just quit, and that makes you look like, and that made me look like the butthole who has no clue what he's doing.
No, I mean you're one of the things because that was the second time that you directed a piece of mine, and I'm pretty hands-on when I like to be there to help out or whatever, and so you did exercises and stuff which I thought were good, but not everybody's comfortable with, I guess, exercises. They call them out. I don't know. The other thing about that is that I think if I remember correctly, she was very adamant about sticking to the script. And this is something we talked about earlier this morning when we were pre-talking about this, was different writers have a different sense of ownership when the piece is getting ready to go put out. There are some people who are, don't you be changing a "the" or an "a" or an "a." Everything has to be to the letter. Don't change anything, nothing. There's other people that are like, hey, if it works, if it makes more sense, maybe we understand the characters a little different now that we have the actors there and they're starting to talk, and you think about some stuff. There were some ad libs in Airbnb Butchery that sold it. Okay, Santa Claus, right? You remember Santa Claus? I mean,
Eric, I forget his last name, but yeah, you see, me, I am what you would call a heretical director. There is heretical directors and there's worshipful directors. Worshipful director, if you were to put up a Shakespeare piece, I'm sorry, I'm moving around a lot. See, my shadows disturbing me a little bit. But anyway, if you are putting up a Shakespeare piece or August Wilson piece, or a piece that you look at the words like it's biblical and you don't want to change nothing about it, that's a worshipful director.
Okay.
A heretical director is someone who sees the piece as a blueprint and won't change the words, but see where we could like make a couple of edits here or there. Me, I was largely respectful of the words of the dialogue because you're a great writer, Louis. But while they were dragging Santa, come on, who's gonna drag somebody and be in dead silence? Like,
Oh, that was the funniest part, though. I mean, that was the thing. So there were things written in there that when you technically have to try to do it on a stage, somebody's going to break a back or a leg or something if they try to do it exactly as it was written. And we didn't know, obviously, until we got there. But the modifications that were done, they added to the hilarity of it. And I think the comment he made that was so funny, the ad-lib had to do with, there's something to do with, you kidding me? This guy's 200 pounds, half of it's his beard. That was funny. Now that was an ad lib that was funny, and to me, those are the things that make something. And you can tell in the audience, right? You can tell, like listening to Sport of Crowns when you were doing that. That's maybe the first time I think I've even heard that. I was at the Saturday show. That must have been the Saturday show.
That was the Saturday show because I was on the Sunday show.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to show myself. I wanted to show Adrian Allen because he did a great job.
He did a fantastic job. And he still has my watch, by the way. I'm just kidding. Adrian, if you're out there, you hang on to that, man. But that's the thing, though, is you can tell from the audience if something's working or not, right? And as a writer, you don't have that. You have no sounding board until it starts to get out there. And you can kind of tell in the reads and stuff like that, kind of was even during the actual I'm drawing a blank now, not the dry run, but whenever the dress where everybody's right. Say it one more time.
Tech rehearsal.
Tech. Thank you. See, this is how ignorant I am. But yes, the tech rehearsals where you start to get some people in there in the audience kind of around other actors and stuff. And then you start to go, oh yeah, okay, I'm starting to. And then when you finally do get people in there, you go, I see what worked and what didn't, So it's fun. I mean, listen, you and the other folks that I've met and the group in general has been inspirational to me. I've come from a musical background, and so to come out of that into this form of art has been very interesting. And the robot musical, I'm not leaving that alone yet. Something's going to happen with that, but I did start another project with Amanda and
Amanda who?
Almodovar.
I know Amanda who, but whoever's going to watch and listen to this won't know who.
Absolutely. Well, she's a dear friend, and she came up with this idea. She had a musical that she had done called Pink and Purple, and she did get that stage. But then her and I kind of started collaborating on a piece called Gaining Ground, and so last year, in the midst of the COVID and everything, we really scrambled separately to write music and the whole thing, the musical, and we did get a chance to do a table read basically through the Footlights program of the Dramatists Guild. But now we're really getting more serious with the piece and she's picking apart the characters and trying to find ways to make them really stand out as individuals and that. And I'm working on the music. And Adrian, I was telling you earlier, but I want to show you what it looks like. The score stuff. So being able to write a score, a lot of us musicians, we just do it off the cuff. I mean, we play by ear, we multi-track, and at the end of the day, that's great. We've made a piece of music. But in this sphere, you got to be able to find a way to translate that music into a form that you could hand off to anybody. And I guess that's the thing that's really amazing to me. And I didn't know how to do it. But I found a free piece of software for folks that are writing music that might want to try to engage the concept of creating a score. And it's called Muse, M-U-S-E score. It's free. You can download it, and it allows you to, take your music as you're playing. You can connect up a keyboard to it and play the notes, and it turns it into a score, multiple scores if you've got sheets for different people. And it even plays back the music for you and allows you to export it. And it's just fantastic. And did I say it was free? Because it's free. And I didn't invent it. I wish I would have. But I tell you, it took, for me, music, it took it to the next level, being able to actually do a score, and you think about music differently when you're having to do it, with the I guess the math of it, making sure everything fits to a metronome and gets out there in the notes and the rest and stuff. It's fascinating, but I'm excited to be working with her on Gaining Ground, and we're hopeful that we'll get a chance to actually put it out there on a stage next year. That's what we're hoping.
So I hope y'all put it out there too, because you both write very great dynamic things.
Thank you.
Really, having read some of what she's written, and having directed some of what you've written.
Thank you.
I want to know though. Aside from me, if you can pick any director that you wanted to direct Gaining Ground or any of your future projects, who would you choose? Anyone.
Well, I have a pretty limited experience as far as that goes with people that I've seen up close and personal.
I want to say, I mean, literally anyone. Someone famous, someone local, anybody.
Directing it. And you said not you, right? I can't include you?
I mean, if you want to.
Okay. But honestly, though, in the group of the people I've seen around here, and there's been a lot of different people, and they have different styles. I have had a piece. That piece I was telling you about, the Thanksgiving one, the Zoom one, was done by Mike Brannon, and I've come to kind of respect him. He's got a different style than yours. I actually directed something this year too, which I'd never done, which was a radio play, and didn't have the first clue as to how to do it, didn't know anything about it. But my style was very relaxed and different. But Mike gets results for one thing. And one of the things directing, and I know you do the same thing, when you read a script, you want to know the backstory for those characters, and you want the actors, and even you go to the writer and say, okay, well, here's Joe over here, right? Where did Joe come from? I mean, what does he do for a living? What's he feeling? How did he get to this point? What's his motivator? And those kind of things. And I hadn't really thought, in some cases, as you write, you just kind of put it out there, and I'm just writing about what's going on in this time frame. I don't know what the backstory is. I don't know where the dude went to school, or if he went to school, whatever. I don't know. But they make you start to think about it, and it makes a difference.
So that is my super writing intensive, super analytical Guilford College training. That's where that comes from. But I love it. I learned that from being taught the school of thought of one Uta Hagen. How an actor gets into character, how they find their character. And I found that that is very that's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Productive. That's it yields fruitful results. And Uta Hagen comes from the Stanislavski school of thought, and Stanislavski. I love what I'm trying as I prepare to play Hamlet. I was about to say Hamilton. Hamlet. Hamlet.
Yes, Hamlet. I know you're playing him.
Yes. As I prepare for that, I am trying to find, where do me and Hamlet meet? I'm trying to get into why Hamlet does what he does in the 15 minutes that you are going to be watching me play Hamlet, and what does Hamlet want? And I believe that giving your characters a backstory is very important, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why. What's her face? I'm not going to say her name. What's her face quit because she was like, man, Adrian's asking for too much.
Well, I'll say this, because without naming names either, but one of the techniques, I guess, that you used with us to try to, and we didn't have the actor who was playing the husband with her. So I sat in on that. But one of the things that you had us do, because in the play, they're sort of bickering and they come onto the stage with a little bit of a fight going, and you kind of wonder about their dynamic. And so you actually had us pretending like we were in the car, listening to the radio, getting to the Airbnb, and what kind of argument were we having right before we got there, what kind of discussion. And I thought that was really cool. And again, that's something that I'm learning from people in this industry as I go. And you're one of the people that I will say that I'm learning from, and I appreciate it.
But thank you. With that being said, what director do you want to direct your next piece that you put out to the world?
You know, if we're given the opportunity to do it, I'm gonna defer to Amanda. How about that? See how I kicked that can down the road? I kicked it down the road. I'm gonna say Amanda, since she wrote the script, I'm doing just the music primarily on the musical. I figure she'll probably figure out who she wants to do it or who will do it. To me, honestly, and this is something we've learned from this local situation, is you never know who's going to end up with your piece, right? Even on the radio things or the short plays or any of that stuff, you just really don't know. All of a sudden they're like, okay, we picked your piece, and eeny, meeny, miny, mo, here's the director we're going to go with. Or if somebody says, hey, I really want to do this one, and so they get it, and it's news to me. I mean, I don't know. So I'm blessed and fortunate that you fell into my lap, or I fell into your lap, or we fell into each other's lap or something. But it worked out. And so far, you know, I take this all as a learning experience, not just for me, but even for some of those directors that are still trying to cut their teeth on it. I mean, we're not in Broadway, so I mean, we're still trying to get to somewhere, right? Right.
Well, see, writers like you and Amanda and others who I've seen, y'all are very much different from me, because I know that when I write something, I'm like Tarantino. Tarantino directs everything that he writes. Tyler Perry directs everything he writes. Spike Lee directs everything that he writes. These are writer directors that I think about. I'm directing everything that I write, you know.
Okay.
Unless I submit something short that I'm just trying to test out, I'm directing everything I write because nobody has my vision. And I feel like if my piece was to fall into the wrong hands, my vision would be somewhat contorted. So now that I have the directorial skill, according to you, according to my wonderful, beautiful cast of Time, according to the great Larry Kirwan, so a SAG actress has called me a great director. If you happen to check Zoom page to see Submerged, shout out to Sierra and shout out to Letitia. Anyway,
I remember it like a dream. We was all clean, rings, accessories, and we ain't puff Gabbage. We puff that sesame, especially when we been grinding like 2 days. Go in the house and switch hats like a toupee. We brown bag in a back mattress. We dressed like we ain't never had shit on the app and clock a grip for it. And spending too much cheese and snorting whiskeys as I fell with a nigga. I helped him and he helped me, and I would ride with him. We could've died pulling jobs trying to rob niggas, and then you had a cheat, unfortunately, but very fortunate for you, cause dude, I don't know what the fuck you be going through, my nigga, you was my best friend. A bitch will never come between us, remember that shit? Rims and tires and backflips in the back of the path, we stack chips, tell them D's cash Watch this, then back to the Dutch master. Twist it, crack the liquor form. My niggas get a cup, fill it up. This is for my slain and missing ones. If you ever had a love found slain or missing them, or you may have parted ways, this is how we reminisce. Hey,
No lie, really, how could I forget you? Sometime I wish that I can kick it with you more now than ever. I wonder, do you take time to reminisce? I reminisce. No lie, really, how could I forget you? Sometime I wish that I can kick it with you more now than ever. I wonder, do you take time to reminisce? To reminisce. This is dedicated, yep, to everyone that should have made it. Make it, be re-educated, never say that it's too late. It's the perfect timing, opportunity met by preparation. It's modern dated, I feel obligated to stand tall. You recall when we got raided, remember the way we balled? They penalized our team, who were we playing for? The cause? Oh, I'm just reminiscing. With that in mind, we can have a sit down where we used to, drinking on deuces. The corner store made a little change off them looses. Furthermore, what was on my chain cost a few chips. And Miss You Know Who was like a mother to the whole crew. Hi, Mom, your boy's going global. After an overview of old school, I pay homages and honor. I know I never told you I reminisce. No lie, really, how could I forget you? Sometime I wish that I can kick it with you more now than ever. I wonder, do you take time to reminisce? I reminisce. No lie, really, how could I forget you? Sometime I wish that I can kick it with you more now than ever. I wonder, do you take time to reminisce? To reminisce.
now you in Cali, I can't ride with a nigga. When shit getting bout it, Lil Malik gotta meet Lil E. They gotta chill, we gotta build. I tell you about this life that I live, cause shit is real for a nigga now. I met this nigga Ninth Wonder, he getting the nigga out there, he ain't no joke. I ain't no hoe, yo, I done tamed the flow. I'm more reserved, but I still keep it gangster though. Yeah.
Today is another day, another time at another place. Another individual finds another way and refuse to catch another case. About food, you too, I want another plate for one another's sake. Let's not forget where we come from. What's done is done, let's elevate. Yeah, I remember what they used to say, but let's create a bond much stronger, bend but never break. No lie, really, how could I forget you? Sometime I wish that I can kick it with you more now than ever. I wonder, do you take time to reminisce? I reminisce. No lie, really, how could I forget you? Sometime I wish that I can kick it with you more now than ever. I wonder, do you take time to reminisce? To reminisce.
And it comes running back in your direction. Someday you realize whatever goes around comes around. Every lifetime is a lesson. This is what I found. No matter.
Rod call me Lou, Kenyatta call me Marcy, my mama call me Lane, my boyfriend call me Noche. On the plane full of whites, pilots be Iraqi. That's how I grab attention hot like hibachi. I leave a mark like Taki, morning the 83rd. I know it's what you know, don't care about what you think you heard. And that's just what I'm saying, it's just plain common sense.
My point is, I have been called a great director. So now that I know that I have that skill, I'm directing my stuff.
Well, and the positive on that is that you got your thumbprint, right? Like you said, I guess the scariest thing for some writers is, and I've heard about this happening, where they turn over a script, somebody else takes it, they never see it until they come out, and maybe they're showing up at Tech Week, or they're showing up just for the show, and they haven't seen any rehearsals or anything, and they're just like, what? That's not what I had in mind at all. Now, I haven't had that happen to me, and again, I think some of it has to do with how deep your vision is. Is it really every little piece, every little light, every little shadow? I mean, every little fade out, every fade in. I mean, is it that exact, or is it the story that you know? When I tend to write, when you were asking before, I tend to be more conversational. Like I do a great job with dialogue. If there's anything anybody said, it's like, oh yeah, it's very conversational. And so a conversation can happen in any number of ways. And then it's kind of up to the director to place some of that action. If there's anything that I lack in, don't have a tremendous amount of action going on, but again, I'm kind of limiting myself to these smaller theater ideas. But and they're one-on-ones a lot of times too, so there's not a lot of action. But I can totally understand where your vision, well, especially with time, because that was a real personal piece, right? If somebody had Airbnb and butchered that, just to tie that back over to that, you would have been very disappointed, and it would have been personally just disgusting. So you wouldn't want to have that happen. So you were able to do it the way you needed to. And hey, you're absolutely right. There's a unique thumbprint from Quentin Tarantino, from Spike Lee. You know their joints when they put them together. You know it's them. I mean, you know that everything was set up in such a way to be done that way. I think even Scorsese's probably that way. And I'm not trying to get into any Woody Allen stuff because, I'm just not trying to go there. But I'm saying if you look at him from just from the concept of it, it's another person that people say, oh, yeah, they're taking this thing and they're doing it. And again, I'm not trying to give any props to Woody Allen because we all know what he did. So he knows what he did. But I'm not going to go.
You're just merely observing and complimenting whatever style he has left.
It's just a fingerprint. It's a fingerprint on the work, and it's sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's hard to tell because it's a group of people that all kind of. And sometimes it's a singular actor that makes the difference, that you start to change the piece around because they're so dynamic or so relevant to the thing. It's like they suck up the room almost, from how big they are with it, to where you almost want to change it around to be more focused on the individual. But I've been reading about Mike Myers and some of these other folks that have done a lot of directing. I mean, he's passed obviously, but that's a guy also that was willing to take a piece of work and say, yeah, I don't think this is going to work like this. And then you got to have that complicated conversation with the writer and say, I see what you're trying to do, but this got to go. This got to go. We got to cut this. We got to splice this. And I'm sure with film, it's different, and even more so. And you're more familiar with that. You got an IMDb page, if I'm not mistaken.
I do.
Yes, sir. So you know. I mean, I don't have to say nothing. Just drop the mic. That's right.
Wow, drop the mic.
Bam.
Well, tell me this. This is where I want you to give your unapologetically truthful answer, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's go. We're going to go back over the 3 projects that we collaborated on. Even though HS Day Buddy was not a direct collaboration. Well, heck, it was, because I acted in it.
Yeah.
So with Sport of Crowns, I originally wanted to cast a black family, but the only 2 black actresses that I had that I could get were both in use. So, okay, forget about that. Sport of Crowns, I gave a purple theme. The whole set was purple. It wasn't because of Prince. It was because purple is the color of royalty, and we were talking about crowns, so it was royal. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate my directing for that? As a writer and as a patron.
Okay. Well, again, I got to give you a solid 10. But again, it's not just it was the purple aspect of it. That's the lighting and everything. I mean, if I remember correctly, you even had like the lights and everything else going there. So you had taken that whole thing and really kind of done that. It was a simple set, but you worked with people. And the reason I give you a 10 on directing that, it's not just a Sport of Crowns flu, but that had something to do with it, because to me, professionalism is having to work on your feet, right? If a situation changes and you got to do something different, then you've got to do it because the show must go on, kind of thing. And so, I give you a solid 10 right there for Sport of Crowns. I enjoyed it. It was probably, when I look back on the different things I've done and different readings and different things that have been put on or whatever, that ranks right up there as like probably one of the top, if not the top piece in terms of how it came together.
Thank you. All right. So no one got sick after Air being butchery. So what did you think about Air being butchery?
That's true. We survived that one intact. Although there was a lot of fake blood, I think, on the stage, maybe. What's that?
I said shout out to Sarah Stephens. Sarah Stephens, who is a young theatrical prodigy. Meredith Stephens, Stephens. That's her daughter. Shout out to Meredith. Shout out to everybody at Goodly Frame Theater. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Sarah provided the fake blood every night, so shout out to her.
Yeah, and so that was just so folks know. I mean, it was a horror themed evening of short plays, so all the plays had to be scary in some way. I took it to that humorous level where then it flips at the end and does get kind of gory, and you don't really know what's going to go down. But I mean, how about if I just give you an 8 because I have to compare it to Sport of Crowns, but it was perfect. It was perfect. I mean, and you were able to direct the actors to bring their personality to it. And again, Chris, I think his name was, right? Was it Chris? Yeah. So Chris bringing the humor that he brought to it was excellent. And Santa, what can we say about Santa, right? I mean, he's a jolly old soul. But anyway, everybody there really kind of pulled it off, and it was good. The other reason I'll kind of give it an 8 is there's the one actress that I felt like she should have projected more. I know it's hard to get that out of people sometimes if they're just not going to bring that volume level. It felt like it was a little soft, So again, you told me to be brutally honest. So she was the only one that I would say it was hard to hear sometimes, and I know it's just difficult, obviously, and it's hard to be able to tell someone you need to raise your voice, right? But sometimes that's got to be the case. But no, overall, everybody did a great job with the interpretation of it, and I loved it.
I see the actress that you're talking about. She is predominantly a film person, and I learned this. Okay, so here's the dynamic between being a film actor and a theater actor. When I started doing films, directors had to tell me to tone it way down.
It's this most subtle stuff, right? The real subtle, like just the most minor movement and everything carries so much weight, right?
Right, but when you are a film actor trying theater, you gotta bring it way up.
Yes, right. Yep. Yeah, and it's funny because you see this, and if there's any advice I would give to any, because I've been to a few of these audition situations too, where these people come in, and granted it's community theater, so it is what it is. But some of the folks that come in and they're just really tentative, they're reading real soft, and they're standing there, and you're like, at least read at normal level. I mean, bring what you can to that audition. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. Nobody else there knows any of those scripts really any better than you at that moment. So just read it. Go for it.
Agreed. So what did you think of the job that we did in HS Data Buddy?
That one was good. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I thought that was funny because it did poke fun at the old guy and who didn't have any business, right? Being in the Zoom or whatever. And just the fact that, and then there was the ass kisser too, right? So there was the one guy that was kissing his butt the whole time. Yeah. And so you get that too in real life. But the fact that they were trying to hawk a product that there was no way anybody was going to buy when everybody had to be distanced, and they had bought like 100,000 of them or something. that was funny. So I thought you did a great job. I thought you brought it there, and so I'll give you another 10.
Thank you. It's something about whenever I get to work with Dan Beckman, I'm just thinking, okay, I gotta be on 300. I gotta be on 300 right now. Again, shout out to Spring Theater, but yeah, thank you very much for that, Louis. Now tell me this: you keep alluding to your musical background. Real quick, not real quick. Take all the time you need. Tell us about your musical background, because you used to be part of a rock band, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, our past is Googleable, right? So if somebody Googles me, they're gonna see this guy with like hair down to here, holding a keyboard like he's, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm holding it up like I'm about to make love to this keyboard, but it was a death metal band. So not just a rock band, not just a metal band, tuned down to E flat and a lot of that stuff. Didn't have any idea what I was doing, but I was the first keyboard player in that genre. I guess that's the little claim to fame. So we did a couple European tours and a tour of the US and that. I was like 22, 23. This is stepping back to like 90, 91. After that, I did some other things. I was in like an alternative band, which was a little more family friendly, let's just say. And then I've done some, I've done my own stuff with my own studio. I've got kind of built up my own little studio here. I taught myself guitar, and I've got 5 guitars here and a bass. And the keyboards have always still been the primary thing, but I like to throw down stuff and mix it, and so the mixing part is a big deal. I did spend some time in a studio when I was in Tampa called Audio Labs, and being like a studio musician, which really does give you some great chops because you never know what's going to come at you. So one day there was this woman that was putting together some kind of massage, or no, I'm sorry, it was like a hypnotism thing where you sit back and you listen to this thing, and she's walking you through this hypnosis meditation, okay? And they needed some music for this, and so I came up with some stuff. It probably had a little flute. It was probably, I don't know what the heck was in it. It was real like laid back, real kind of new agey. And she was a trip. And so what I'm saying is you never know in a studio environment like that what you might get called out to do. And so it's been a great journey. I've done a lot of different kinds of stuff. I did a Christian album. I did a rap album with a guy from Miami named Papa Don. You and I've kicked a few things back and forth. As far as music and that, I did the musical thing. And I write a lot of sort of parody stuff sometimes, but it's just really whatever's going on. Pete Turner and I have done some children's songs, actually. We kicked around the idea of doing a children's album with some variations of stuff. So, it's all over the place.
So real quick, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to, I Googled you. So, yes, I did. Y'all have a Wikipedia page. Y'all are on Wikipedia.
Yes.
So, real quick, Pete Turner. You see Pete Turner, you think nice, quiet, mild-mannered white guy, right? So when I was working at daycare, he would sing to my kids. It was great. They had a great time. You would think, yeah, he's a writer, but a lot of the stuff is child-oriented and all that good stuff. But we acted together in this film called Guys Night that was super funny, and Pete was just hilarious in it.
I got to see that. You told me about that this morning. I got to go check it out.
Now,
I think you said it's on your YouTube channel, right?
So what?
You said it's on your YouTube channel, right? I can get to it that way?
Battle of the Books is my play that I wrote.
Oh, that's right. Okay. The other one's touring the festivals. That's right. This is on the festival run.
Yeah, it's on the festival run. Right now it's in 5 festivals. Yeah, it won a couple awards over in a festival in India. So, shout out to Caleb Kurtz. Shout out to everybody who allows me to act. I love it. So I Googled it while you were explaining yourself, and Nocturnus, currently Nocturnus AD, is an American death metal. That hurts. Death metal band formed in Tampa, Florida in 1987.
I know, right? So you see all this. I got way more salt and pepper kicking over here, just for the record.
1987. I was 2 years old, but anyway.
Okay, all right, I hear you.
Well, actually, I didn't turn 2 till September, so I was 1.
Okay.
Anyway, they were known for their science fiction theme. No wonder you keep on trying to put together a robot play.
Right.
Robot music.
Right.
They were known for their science fiction themed lyrics and use of keyboards, both of which were virtually unknown in extreme metal at the time. Were y'all like one of the 80s hair bands?
Well, the pictures look that way. We weren't like a Poison or anything like that, where we were all, just glamming it out or anything. We had long hair, but we were very much like wearing shorts or t-shirts on stage. We didn't have anything going like crazy makeup or anything like that. But the other sad part about it, one of the reasons I left it and walked away from all that too, was the other theme. So that's sci-fi, yes, but it's also it leans into the black metal stuff, a little more dark stuff, which was the drummer's influence. And, he thinks I tried to steal his band from him, whatever. If you read, there's a whole lot of drama that went on because we did get rid of him at one point. And he is still touring around with Nocturnus AD. God bless him. If that's what the man wants to do in his late 50s, is try to put together death metal. It feels a little creepy to me, but hey, who am I to judge? But anyway, to me, it was limiting in terms of the scope. And then, like I said, vocally, like you said, it hurts. I mean, first of all, that ain't singing. Come on now. So there's no way to take it. There are some people who did. We toured with a band that was called Confessor, and the guy had this really high voice, and it was complete opposite of what you'd expect from the growl stuff. But quite frankly, it was an experience. Like I said, not everybody gets to tour and do all that, and especially in their 20s and whatnot. And so I'm glad I had the experience. One of the guitar players, Sean, I was telling you about earlier, was my best man. He was in the band, and he's still my best friend. But the rest of the guys, I don't know what happened to them. And other than Mike Browning, who I know is doing his thing, and God, like I said, God bless him, or Satan bless him, or whatever he wants to hear. But I wish him the best. I don't have any interest. If that's what he wants to do, good for him. I got a different life, and I'm very happy living the life I got at this point. I'm not trying to hang on to those 4 touchdowns or something when I was in high. It's just like, that stuff's all in the past, but there are people sometimes who pop up who'll go, wait a minute, you were in Nocturnus? And my daughter's 30, she'll be 32 this year, and she bumps into
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's only 3 years younger that's only 4 years younger than me. How in the world do you
Stop.
got who's 4 years younger?
Well, because you can sire a child, believe it or not. Let me explain how this works to you. So you got a man, you got a woman, and you could be in your early 20s and still manage to have a baby, right? That's how it all worked out. Fortunately, she's super blessed to have her in my life. She's a teacher down in Tampa. She teaches high school. But she'll have friends that are in the metal or whatever, and she'll be like, yeah, my dad was in Nocturnus. What? Yeah, he was in Nocturnus. No. Really? Yeah. So I don't know what it is, but some people are really surprised and maybe blown away by it. Everybody has a past. I kind of wish some things stayed in the past, but hey, it's life. So what are you gonna do?
The way you were looking, you kind of look like you kind of wish that Nocturnus was staying in the past.
Yes, for me personally, yes. Let me tell you a little story about God and how great God is. Okay, after doing a couple albums, I got to the point where I didn't know anything about Jesus, just to tell you the truth. I wasn't really raised that way, and I didn't care if he was going to spew whatever he wanted to say in his lyrics, because I really didn't know any better. And then I discovered Jesus, and I was very ashamed, okay? So I had a garbage bag full of t-shirts and posters and records and all kinds of stuff. And I had it all, and I burned it all on a Christmas Eve night. And I wrote a special prayer to Jesus and begged for forgiveness. It's a whole nother podcast probably, but I'll tell you that my life changed from that moment to a different life altogether. I ended up meeting my wife, actually. Now we've been married 23 years, and I met her like 2 months after that. Within 2 months of that, met her. So God is great, and sometimes you have to just get rid of stuff and give it up to God and say, I'm sorry. And Jesus was the only one that could forgive me for that stuff. And thank God he did. So.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that, because normally at the beginning of an episode, when I meet when I am talking with a brother or sister in the faith, would you identify as a Christian?
I would identify myself as I definitely love Jesus Christ, and I speak to him regularly. Okay. I don't attend church regularly.
Well, it's not the building, the brick and mortar. It's not for everybody.
We pray to Black Jesus on a regular basis, and I'm not going to shortchange it. I'm going to tell you that's who we pray to.
Me too. Black Ethiopian hung on a tree Jesus, whose real name is Yeshua. That guy.
There you go. Yep.
So what's your favorite? So if you don't mind me asking, what's your favorite scripture?
My favorite scripture.
If you go back to some of my episodes, we talk about God a lot.
Okay, I'm good with talking about God. So I guess it would be, I like the story of Job only from the standpoint of it's a faith testing situation. And it kind of goes back to, you do have to trust and have that faith over a long period of time. But if I'm going to Jesus, and specifically, I would say that Jesus talking about it's more important to pray in private and have that private conversation than to put on a show in public. In other words, God appreciates it much more when you have that one-on-one. You can talk to God without having any trappings. And really, the trappings, in my opinion, can be a problem. It can be problematic. It takes a distance from you and God. So I think a lot of, as far as any specific, I can't throw out, 3:16 John and say, because that's what you see on the banners. But yeah, or unless you're Tim Tebow, exactly. So I'll just tell you how I got introduced to Jesus, because like I said, I wasn't really raised that way. But somebody who was a Catholic, which I'm definitely not Catholic either, but she was very much so, gave me my Bible, the first Bible I had, and then I got a handle on the Jeffersonian Bible. And for those of you who don't know what that is, Thomas Jefferson put this together. It's only the words of Jesus. It strips out everything else except just what Jesus said. And so it's smaller. And when you read it, you get a strong understanding of who Jesus was, what he was about, what he was trying to live and emulate, and the struggle he had to try to make people understand where he was coming from, even his own apostles, right? I mean, over and over having to try to explain things in another way so people could understand. But that's when I felt the most shame for being in Nocturnus. When I understood what Jesus was about, love and light and taking care of each other, it made perfect sense, and I was very ashamed. I was very ashamed that I had gone down a different path and without really knowing Jesus at all. And so that was shameful for me. And so that's really it in a nutshell. I mean, the concept of loving each other is really what it's all about. Doesn't make any difference who's who, what you have, what you look like. Every one of us is made up of the same molecules and star stuff. We're all human beings and blessed to be here by some amazing divine grace that we're here. So that's the way I look at it.
One of my favorite scriptures is, anyone who is in Christ is a new creature. Old things have passed away, all things are brand new. and you're walking in this brand new light and stuff, and it's a beautiful thing because hey, they may be nocturnes, they may be out touring and doing their thing and stuff, but they never had a play directed by me. So
there you go. So there you go. That right there was worth my conversation with Jesus, for him to guide me through all those years from when you were 2 all the way up to now. Okay. Okay. Let's just say 1 then. From when you were just a baby. I mean, just a little tiny bit. No beard, no nothing, man. No locks. You weren't all pumped up like you are now, hitting the gym and whatnot. So you were just 1 year old, but Jesus brought me to you and you to me. So that's worth it right there.
Amen. And I will say, so me, I'm not a fan of the death metal genre at all.
That's my surprise face. Hold on.
Okay, Home Alone. But there are some metal-y type songs that I like. Okay, I like Metallica's Enter Sandman. I like that. Enter Sandman.
I'm with you. I'm feeling you.
I love Cult of Personality by Living Colour.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Vernon Reid.
I don't know if Skillet identifies as metal, but they sound metal.
All it takes to be metal is to have a you got to have the guitar amplified through some crunch, right? And pretty much you can get away with calling that metal. I mean, to be honest with you, I listen to all kinds of stuff. You asked me in the beginning of this to come up with 3 songs. That's a tough, tall order as far as favorite songs. When I'm driving around Sirius, I listen to the 70s, 90s. I listen to Lithium, which is all the grunge stuff from the 90s. I have that hair. There's a hair channel there, all the hair bands. Just for a laugh, more than anything, I'll flip over to that. There's a rap, there's a hardcore rap channel on there, which I'll flip to sometimes. Because when I was coming up in the Nocturnist days, NWA just had they had their EP out. And we were in Mexico City playing that. And so I know that doesn't it sounds like that's mind blowing. A bunch of death metalers listening to NWA, but that's when it came out, was 89. I guess it was 89. So
we're not going to say what the NWA stands.
No. But we're just saying that. I'm saying that my musical tastes are all over the place.
Oh, mine too. Cause primarily I love hip hop, conscious hip hop. Also love Christian hip hop, gospel, CCM. I do love type of Christian contemporary Christian music that you will hear on K-Love. Jazz, love classical music. Are you yawning at my music?
I was yawning at your contemporary Christian. I'm just sorry, but hey, if that's your deal, that's cool, man. But
how can you yawn on For King and Country or DC Talk?
Can I get a pillow and put it down and lay on it, or
Newsboys? How can you yawn on
I just don't know them. I guess that's my bad.
That's all good. Let's see. Love neo soul, R&B. I love theater tunes. Like love the Dreamgirls soundtrack. Love Hamilton, In the Heights. My musical taste all over the joint. I being a North Carolina born person, I love country music. I enjoy country music.
See, I have trouble with that. My wife loves it, and she puts the headphones on. Even my cat can't stand it. Okay, we got 2 cats, and he'll literally put his paws over his head when the country music comes out. She wears the headphones, but then she starts kind of bopping around the house, is all, and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of the way.
Look, Louis. All you have to do is listen to a Picture by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow. All you gotta do is listen to that. At least Daddy Lessons by Beyonce.
Okay. All right.
Okay. How about this? Feel the Knowing by this woman named Skyline Motel. I love the song Feel the Knowing.
Don't know.
Okay. Listen to Lady Antebellum's self-titled album. Maybe that. I would say Taylor Swift, but you don't see it.
Listen. Taylor's all right. I mean, sometimes, but all I'll say is she tries to. Yeah, you know, my wife, God bless her, I love her to pieces, and she'll try to. We'll be playing games and stuff, and my daughter's not in the country either. Neither is her boyfriend, but we'll be sitting around, and she'll be like, "You got to hear this one song. You just got to hear this one song." I'm like, really? Okay, well, we'll give you this. We'll give you this one song. What's it all about, you know? And it's interesting to me to hear some of the country acts now trying to talk about unity, but it feels, I don't know what it feels like. I can't tell you exactly what it feels like, but good. I mean, I'm glad, I guess. And then basically, if it's about the truck and the dog, and you know, I'm liquored up, and I'm four tequilas into a naked beach party or something. I don't know, man. That's just not my thing, you know.
What about Blake Shelton's joint "Boys Round Here"?
What? Chew tobacco, spit. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, that sucks. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I'm sorry, man. We can't go there. The boys round here. All right.
I thought that the song was great, but the video's corny. You know, trying to be all united with the rappers. No. What about "Life Is a Highway" by Rascal Flatts?
I mean, the original version of "Life Is a Highway" I actually like, so that's a remake of it. But you know, I don't know. It's like that Old Town Road business. I just can't. I can't get. It's too pop, and something ain't right about it. It's too simple, and you throw in Billy Ray Cyrus, and I'm sorry, that just about makes me have to hurl. So you know, God bless him and his daughter Miley Cyrus. You know, wish her the best too. But she seems so plastic, made out of nothing. I mean,
only song that she did that I like is "Party in the USA."
Okay, right?
Yeah. This
Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball, baby. Wrecking Ball.
No Wrecking Ball here. No. Now, as far as Old Town Road goes, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not homophobic, but I'm not a fan of Lil Nas X at all. I don't like nothing he does. Nothing.
You didn't see him on Saturday Night Live, did you?
No, I didn't. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I saw him on Saturday Night Live. He's certainly being himself. I'll give him that 100%. I mean, if you want to talk about folks expressing themselves, hey, you know, he couldn't express himself anymore. And
I'll tell you someone who expressed themselves beautifully and so beautifully that this person was another reason why I had the whole set of Sport of Crowns purple. Prince.
Yes.
But guess what? Prince had a Prince. I'm pretty sure there were people who thought that he was gay. You know what I'm saying? Because he had a perm, he wore makeup, he wore high heels, but he made a whole song called "If I Was Your Girlfriend." I don't care. Prince was freaking great.
He tore it up too, bro. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, he was anything but gay. But I'll tell you this: I've seen before, like on the Facebook, where you do the whole Michael Jackson versus Prince. Dude, hands down, Prince. And I've read his autobiography. I've read his biography. I'm sorry, to me, hands down, Prince. I know. So you okay? Well, we could have that debate too. But
Michael Jackson danced all over him.
Because of what?
Michael Jackson danced all over him. I'm sorry. Prince was a musician. He was a musician, but
that's why it feels to me. Okay, from an entertainment standpoint, you know, Smooth Criminal and the whole, you know.
Also, I will ask you this. I'm sure you've seen The Wiz, right?
Yes.
Tell me that Michael Jackson didn't act better in The Wiz than Prince did in daggone Purple Rain.
Okay, but here's where we got to draw the line. Prince wrote Purple Rain. He directed Purple Rain. Okay. He started like you. He was like a early version of you, man. Okay, you haven't had that connection yet. But what I'm saying is, and you read the stories about how he was able to get that to come to life and everything that he did. And you're right. I'm a musician, so I always lean more into those people who write the music, and to me, that's the genius of it. But you're right, there's entertainers and folks like that too. So I can't take anything away from them. But to me, if we're just talking musicianship, I mean, it's just Prince all day long, and tragic. Both of their losses are tragic for sure.
Yes. I cried with Michael Jackson. Now listen. The reason why I lean towards Michael Jackson is because my mom used to bump Off the Wall on repeat when I was little. I had no choice but to be a Michael Jackson fan. Michael Jackson was ingrained in me. My parents, me, my mom, my cousins, and my aunts, we would watch Jackson's American Dream. But when I would flick the channel and try to turn it on Purple Rain, they'd be like, "You burn on."
Well, you also got to hand it to Quincy Jones, okay? And if you want to read a really good autobiography as well, his book Q. I mean, all the different stuff he was involved in, going back into the 60s and late 50s with these jazz people and stuff, and bringing things together. And I mean, just being able to me, writing music, you know, there's sort of like two kinds of writing. There's the writing that I used to do mostly, and I still probably do mostly, which is from the ear and get an idea or a theme and you build on it. But to sit down and be able to sit and write scores, and that's Quincy Jones all day long, you know, to be able to sit down and figure it out for all these instruments and do that. It's astounding. There's actually a movie, it's called Score, and it's all about how music is written for movies and how historically, and everything from Jaws to, you know, everything from the time they introduced music into movies, and it brings it all the way back through Star Wars and all that. And you see these people sheet reading music for the first time. They're looking at it, sight reading it, never seen it before, a whole orchestra, and they're and then it's like you got 150 people in there, and they're busting it out. And somebody sat and had to write all that. To me, that's just crazy, like mind-blowing writing.
I'll just say, I hope to become a writer to that degree one day. And I'll just say this: Michael Jackson, love Michael Jackson. I'm a Michael Jackson person, but I think we all can agree. It pains me to say this. It does, but
I'm looking for a tissue. Hold on a second. I'm just kidding.
His music, the quality in his music, did very slightly regress, just a little bit, when Dangerous happened. Because Dangerous wasn't produced by Quincy Jones like Thriller and Off the Wall was.
And Bad.
Was Bad?
I'm pretty sure Quincy Jones did that too, but maybe it moved on from there. But again, I'm not trying to take anything away. Michael Jackson, and I think this is another really good example of, we're talking about, just because people seem like they're rich and famous and whatever, they got the world, you know, by the short hairs. It seems like they should just be happy. But you don't know about people. Like you said, Robin Williams, I got a feeling Michael Jackson, I mean, the fact that he was taking what he was taking to sleep means he was wore out. He felt like he had to perform for people. And he was to me, he was wrung out like a towel. Okay. And
he was 11, of course.
Yeah. I mean, you go back to all the real early Motown stuff, and there's a great movie about that as well. And you look at Michael Jackson first coming in there, you know, into the Motown experience. And Stevie Wonder too is another one. Just went in there when he first arrived there in Detroit, went around to all the different instruments and just picked him up and was playing them. And everybody was like, and he was little, you know. But you're right. Yeah, Michael Jackson, he was put up front and center from a very tender age, and we don't know what the situation with the family was, and I don't want to even hazard a guess. So,
yeah, I grew up on Michael Jackson. I grew up on Bobby Brown. when I first saw Prince, you're gonna be ashamed of me for saying this, but when I first saw Prince, I thought Michael Jackson got a haircut and grew some facial hair. I mean, hey, they look like they could be related.
I don't know, man. Prince to me, like I said, I'm going to tell you the truth. When I was old enough to be like in the theater at like 16. Well, I guess I was 17 when Purple Rain came out, and I went and saw it in the theater. And I'd be damned if I didn't go out and buy a motorcycle. And I got in an accident on it. It was on my 18th birthday. But there's nothing else that could have got me onto a motorcycle except Prince. And I was just like, okay, you know, how in the world can I be? And then, of course, I got hit by a car on a motorcycle just like a month after I got it. And that's the problem with motorcycles. You don't have a lot of protection. You won't see me on another motorcycle now. But he's the reason I got on a motorcycle.
Darling Nikki is probably like the most genius and petty breakup song ever.
Yeah, I think he's super witty in the way that he tells stories, that he gets into sexual stuff as well. And he does it in a way that I don't know. He's just stupendous. There's another book about Prince that has all of his writings in it. And from everything before, 1999 and everything else, when he was just really, because he was a prodigy too. He really started out in his early teens or whatever. But anyway, we got into the musical tip, but I'll just tell you that, yeah, they're awesome. So now on my 3 songs, I got to pick a Prince song for sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, shoot. And I'm like, right. And I'm like, right now, I'm going to say, as we start to wrap this up, Prince has so much game. I am going to try to use some of his words to get with women, but I imagine me, daggone, saying, looking at a girl saying, "If I was your girlfriend."
You got to be pretty confident. You got to be pretty confident with your sexuality, ADQ. At that point, I'm just going to tell you.
Imagine me wearing a perm, high heels, and makeup, and looking at a girl saying, "If I was your girlfriend."
It's a stretch. And the other thing you don't have is the super killer guitar.
I don't have the millions of dollars either.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, for him though, it wasn't even about the money. I don't think the world was ready for him. There's a book about the year 1984 of all the artists that came out in 1984, all the people that were there, and Prince figures into that pretty prominently because Purple Rain came out in 84, and the world didn't know what to do with him. He took the world over.
It was before his time.
Big time.
Yeah. Prince would definitely thrive today, and that's why his legend lives on and on and on. Was 1985 a great year for artists to come out as well?
Let me think about 85. I'm trying to think. I want to think that did the Beastie Boys pop out somewhere around in there? 84, 85. I don't know. I don't know about 85. I graduated high school in 84, so that's the other reason that 84 was probably a seminal year. But like I said, I don't remember much about 85. I think it was probably like U2 and stuff like that. I think in the that was when U2 probably was kicking into gear with like, I don't know, Joshua Tree, or maybe before that. And so there was bands out there that were popping out. The Police broke up, I guess, by 85. I think they were done. Pop stuff like Madonna and all that was going around, but I don't know, dude. I don't listen to any of that stuff. So plus at that time, I'm trying to think of what I listened to in 80s, 85, 86.
I know a great artist who came out in 85. Me!
Hey!
I didn't drop any projects, but I came out with my mother in 85.
Well, that was a moment. That was like that was the birth heard round the world, as they say.
That's right.
People didn't know it. They were sort of just what happened just now? I felt like a tremor in the force. Something happened. I guess we're going to find out about that later. Down the road, we're going to find out about that.
Yeah, that's right. Down the road. So, Louis, what does the future hold? I know you and Amanda are currently working on your musical that is going to eclipse Hamilton in.
Okay, sure, let's go there.
Well, other than that, what else you got? What else you got coming up?
Oh Lord. Well, I mean, like I said, I wrote that piece, Course Change, which I thought I might do something with. I had another piece that was read that was called IRL. It was sort of a alternative, a strange avant-garde piece of play. I don't know. It's kind of whatever. I got to get some inspiration from something, and maybe this will help me too, just having this combo with you. But I have to have something that kicks it into gear. For me, Course Change, which is a full-length play, I wrote it in 10 days because I was motivated. And once I started, I didn't really put the pen down until, the computer down until it was done. So something's going to hit me somewhere, and I'm going to get motivated and do it. I don't know what it's going to be. It's hard to say.
Gotcha. So if anybody who is watching this, and people have been watching this, shout out to one person, but it's been at 1, it's been at 2, it's been at 1, 2, 1, 2.
That's all right.
I've been watching. So if anybody wanted to get some writing tips from you, get some music from you, I don't know, have a jam session with you, how can they get in contact with you?
Well, I don't really Facebook. It really, I have like an account, but it's kind of hidden, just for the play stuff. But I mean, people could email me, and it's just my name, which you see here, Louis Panzer 99@gmail.com. So you can email me. I do, if somebody's got something that they want to do, or they got an idea for something. I've seen where a lot of artists are kind of popping up now. They're like a writer or a lyricist looking for a composer or something like that. Let me know. But I'm pretty well tied up with this Gaining Ground because we have a bit of a deadline going right now to try to get everything put together to get things ready for at some point next year. But hey, if somebody's got an idea, they want to shoot something over, shoot it to me. I'll that's my email, louispanzer99@gmail.com.
All right, and if you are watching this and you happen to be a friend of Louis's and you want to know how to get in touch with me, my email is adq4christ@gmail.com. My Twitter handle is AvenueADQ_85. My Instagram is Dion Chocolate Guy 85. And Facebook, I'm dialing back my Facebook usage big time. I just ended my fast, but I'm dialing it back big time. So y'all only gonna catch me on there. Y'all only gonna catch me on there to promote stuff like this, like Finding Shakespeare, like Letter to a Hindu, which I'll be playing Gandhi in, like just me being dope. Anyway, so check me out, Adrian Dion Quarles on Facebook, ADRIAN DIONQUARLES. Please don't call CIA on me. Louis!
Yes, sir.
It has been great talking to you. Wonderful talking to you. I do hope that we get to collaborate again one day.
I'm sure we will.
Because you have that humble and radiating energy that, most directors, when the script gets their hands, the writer is somewhere else writing something else. But both times we work together, I include you in the process because I wanted to get some semblance of your vision and see if it would match my vision and see if we can put together something beautiful. And I think that we did. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree. And to me, this whole experience is just learning. I mean, I learned from everything and everybody. Like I said, even through the pandemic, with trying to do things for Zoom and writing for Zoom and performing it on Zoom and even doing the musical that we did last year. And you were listening to that, and I know I had an internet snafu. It never fails. But when I was trying to do the music out there, and I think you heard me drop an F-bomb even, because I think you said, "Hey, this is live," and I'm like. So, but even with all that, I learned something from every little piece of all this, and I'm looking forward to seeing you live and getting in front of my fellow play peoples, and it's all good, man.
Yes, it is. It is all good indeed. Thank you very much for coming through, Louis. This is ADQ's Renaissance. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed, incredible day. Go see Finding Shakespeare. Look out for my friend GP's album. Hey, Louis, since you have an appreciation for hip hop too, The Re-Up is the name of the album. The Re-Up.
Okay.
I highly recommend it.
Send me I'll write that down actually. How about that? That way I don't forget. The Re-Up.
The Re-Up is coming. August is coming July 31st. July 31st, wherever music can be found. The Re-Up by Mr. GP.
GP. Got it.
That's right.
The Re-Up. I'll hook it up.
Please do. Very good friend of mine. Love the man like a brother. This is ADQ's Renaissance. That was The Re-Up. Everybody have a blessed evening.
So, what's it gonna be tonight?
John, I need a commitment.
What? I thought we were gonna watch something light.
No, a commitment. I need you to commit to helping make me complete.
Of course. Mary, I thought we already completed each other.
Yes, well, this is going to take a new commitment. A renewal of vows, so to speak. You know, they say when the weather outside is frightful.
Wait, what?
I got the first 7 seasons. You can thank me later. Check it out. Sport of Crowns.
Isn't that all just a bunch of gratuitous sex and violence?
No! Gratuitous suggests it doesn't serve the plot. It's all a finely woven thread of intrigue and betrayal. It's like someone made a soup out of Lord of the Rings, Genghis Khan, Knights of the Round Table, a little I, Claudius thrown in.
I don't know. Even as you said, I can't help but think that fresh art is dead. I mean, it sounds very derivative. How many hours are we talking here?
Hours? You mean years? Listen. The realm is a tricky place.
Okay.
No, seriously. Life lessons.
No, seriously. How many hours of my life am I committing to this journey?
Okay, roughly maybe 70 hours. Wait, plus special features. Plus double that if we watch it with the commentary after we go through it once.
Mary, I love you, but I'm not that committed.
We've been married now, what? 18 years? The kingdoms were won and lost and won again.
Sweetheart, love of my life.
Love of your loins?
Yeah. Listen, You need to slow your roll, okay? I have a life to live, work to do, real life stuff.
I know, but we can escape all that. Like they say.
When you play the sport of crown.
Yeah, I hear you, but when I play the sport, I throw the game because it's boring.
What's boring? Is the Bible boring? The Constitution? Plus, you can't throw the game. It's not sport.
Who are you, the referee? Flag on the play, unnecessary nerdiness?
I just thought some time together, some quality time.
Quality time? How about a conversation? I don't know, maybe about my actual life? I mean, I don't ride around on a dragon here, but I do scoop litter every day.
Yeah, I can't wait for season 8 of that.
Nice. You know what, maybe quality time should include some intimacy, Miss Lady of the Loins.
Baby, of course. And we can totally do that. Imagine the fantasy.
On the screen or in our home.
Both. You know, role playing.
Is that what this is about?
No, but...
No, I see. So not only am I committing hours to regurgitated fantasy plots and swordplay, but now I'm supposed to get into a submissive role? Let me guess. A winch?
No, you got it all wrong. See, Tyrannus of the Dragon Clan, she's hot. She's in charge. That's me, baby.
Now, which one of these is supposed to be me?
My lord, you can be whomever His Highness chooses.
Oh, okay. Well, I choose Hallmark.
Hallmark? I don't see a hallmark here. Is he from the mountain realm?
No, he hails from the rim of the romantic land of relationships, the Hallmark Channel.
Sappy cornball stories where they end as predictably cheery and unrealistic.
Oh, but a lady in a leather bikini astride a dragon. Oh, yeah. That's supposed to be more like real life?
No. I mean, yes, in a sense. I mean, it's the sport of crowns, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So, we seem to be on a different page here.
Yeah, we are. My page is written from the heart about feelings and love, and your page is written in the blood of beheaded soldiers on goat hide scrolls.
Yes, but carried by ravens.
Did I hear someone say that we are going to watch Sport of Crowns?
That's your mother's idea.
Sounds like a royal good time to me. Oh,
Billy,
cheerness.
the couch. Mary, is this really what you want our daughter growing up on?
I think the girl needs to learn about honor and chivalry.
And wenches.
No, there's more to the plot. There's a whole bunch of characters.
True. I heard there's a scene where a guy chops off the head of a horse with a single swing of his sword.
Disgusting. Mary, parenting?
Yeah, Billy, maybe Dad has a point. I don't want you to grow up thinking that violence is okay. Or misogyny.
No, that's not fair. You already brought it out.
Well, it's not coming on tonight. I'm sorry.
Thanks, my lady.
You guys are lame. Boo.
She's right.
Listen, I know you like this stuff more than just the blood and the nakedness.
Absolutely. I like the power grabbing, lies and deceit, the backstabbing. The storyline just goes on, and you never know where the craziness will end.
Okay, well, I have a compromise. I know something that has every element that you just described, plus greed. And in every episode, there's a mad king at the center of the action.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Pass me the remote and what's left of the popcorn.
A racist, a con man, a cheat. That's a description of the President of the United States. Good evening, thanks for joining us on a big day here in Washington, D.C., where Michael Cohen testified publicly for the first time today about the president's alleged role in some of the crimes that are sending Cohen to prison over the next months.
I'm just dancing in my dreams. Yo, it's like you're walking in your dreams and you feel so liberated. I'm just dancing in my dreams. You feel like partying because you have achieved your life's mission. And it's just walking. Yes. I love it. I'm just dancing in my dreams. Yes. Don't you love the sound of that horn? Oh yeah. I'm just dancing in my dreams. I love this beat. Come on. I'm just dancing in my dreams. I'm just dancing in my dreams. Dancing in my dreams. I'm just 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 dancing in my dreams. Yes, as you spin and you twirl around, your girl is found. Oh my goodness, it's a worldly sound. It's something beautiful and blessed. Oh, here's the message. Get ready for it.
Religion would be
Yes.
soon to disappear. People only develop religion when they're unhappy with this world.
It's coming back up. I love the sound of that horn, don't you? Yo, I'm dancing in my dreams, hands in some seams, wearing it as the Lord said my plans will succeed. Wait, you seeing how this man will succeed. All expectations shining for the nation, free from plantations. That tells you to be waiting, take list, no desire for greatness. You can fix your lips, be Satan. Told my mom that I wanted to be on the stage, and she looked at me like I was straight crazy. Prayed in movies, theaters, that I can be on the screen. All things are possible to those who believe. Wrote my first rhyme when I was 14, trying to impress the kids at school. Been some rules. 20 years later, trying to y'all get to witness cute how he did his dudes. Yo, this kid's a fool. 35 and the dream still ain't left. I'm gonna do this to my last breath. On me, many have slept, but go ahead and watch my steps. Watch my step, watch my step. Y'all can just watch my step. Watch my step with everything that I got left. And I am just dancing in my dreams. Yo. I am dancing in my dreams. I am dancing in my dreams. I am dancing in my dreams.
Yes, I am dancing, I am dancing, I am moving, I am grooving. I am dancing in my dreams. I think we can fade it out and end it right here because the beat can go for a long time. I'm dancing in my dreams.